investigation by the U.S. government for allegedly debanking conservatives. President Trump and others claim J.P. Morgan and other major banks are debanking conservatives, gun owners, and religious organizations, essentially cutting them off from the ability to do business simply because of their beliefs. J.P. Morgan said they're cooperating with the U.S. government, and this seems to be the first time that they're even acknowledging, and I'm talking about J.P. Morgan, the possibility of this. The Trump administration, Dagan, I know you've covered it extensively on the Bottom Line, has brought to light this issue. There are many examples of it. The First Lady herself claims that she has been debanked. So do some of the other members of the Trump family in their business transactions. And so here we are, an investigation, and the bank seems to be cooperating.
J.P. Morgan, if you got money, they've got the time. And boy, howdy, they never turned their backs on Jeffrey Epstein. Now, did it? They were enabling trafficking of young women. And, but if you have a credit card right here that you don't use, they will cut that. If you have a credit card, you're a bank client of 30 some odd years, and you have a credit card you haven't used in a while, they will just close your credit card account. And when you need it in an emergency, say your dog is dying, you can't use it. You get somebody on the phone, one person, two people, three people, and then they hang up on you repeatedly. That's who J.P. Morgan is. J.P. Morgan, oh, if you're a conservative, they will cut you off. Not Jeffrey Epstein, they wouldn't, because he was bringing in the billions, one of the Google co-founders. He was one of the people he brought in the door. It is disgusting what that bank has done over the years, and I can't wait for just that egg to get cracked open over and over and over again.
It was under the Biden administration, Taylor, the accusations of debanking first arose, that people were being profiled based on conservative views, where they were shopping, religious views that are tied with conservatism. And so, you know, that's a huge issue.
Huge.
The banks.
What was it? Was it not Dick's Sporting Goods, Brian? What was it? Yes.
Anywhere you could buy a gun.
Yes. Well, and you know, I think what really got me is that SNL skit when they made fun of the president for using the words debanking. And the whole SNL skit was saying, oh, it's not a word, and they were effectively calling President Trump stupid for using a word that doesn't exist. And all of us sitting around the table were like, well, that's not a joke, because that is a real word. We've all been saying and using that word, but all the people on the left, including SNL people, hadn't even realized that that was a thing, let alone a word, something that, you know, people have experienced. And so I want to see where this goes. I want to say that, because I don't care where you shop, should not impact whether you can or cannot get a credit card.
But that started with the Biden Treasury.
Yes.
That started with the Biden regulators. We regulate risk management for you guys. And just so you know, if you have customers who are shopping at these places or have this profile, they're a risk, and we're going to make that part of your regulatory scrutiny. And all of a sudden these banks said, oh, we don't want to deal with that. So we're going to, allegedly, right, it's all allegedly stuff. But so when you hand the government power, and I'm foreshadowing to something we're going to talk about in a second, if you hand the government power to start monitoring what your business does, if you got to start reporting to them things that they tell you got to report to them, it's not going to be for benign uses. Eventually somebody's going to say, oh, you know who's banking with you and you know where they shop? We'd like to know that, because we don't happen to like that retailer. That is a slippery path, and the Biden administration showed you exactly how slippery it can get when you get leftists in power and the president asleep at the wheel.
It's discrimination, and it's invasion of privacy, amongst other things.
So this actually started in 2017 with a lot of like right-wing influencers, like, you know, kind of like wackadoos you'd find on Twitter, and like some of them ended up not being wackadoos, but like Alex Jones started getting it. Like after Trump won in 2016, people get kicked off of Shopify. They get kicked off of Venmo. They get kicked out. They get their bank accounts closed. And like there's this guy Milo Yiannopoulos who's like this kind of bombastic dude. Like he got kicked out of everything, debanked everywhere, and these were like the test cases because like nobody cares about him, nobody cares about Alex Jones. Well, then now you're doing it to Melania Trump.
Yeah.
All right, and it's like all of these things and everything we're talking about is intertwined because with business practices like this, the most important bank in the world, the most important bank in New York City, how do you think it's an accident you have a communist who's now a mayor? You normalize this behavior by acting like this. You're harming people.
There are laws, say, governing suspicious activities to prevent money laundering. And $1 billion of suspicious transactions was reported by JP Morgan after Jeffrey Epstein died in 2019. They said the bank, oh, we didn't know about the sexual abuse, okay, but they have paid a few hundred million dollars, 65 they paid to settle lawsuits, and the sex trafficking that went on when he was a banking customer for a decade at JP Morgan is an abomination, and at every turn somebody should bring it up.
And I just go back to, Mike, what you were talking about before regarding Zohran Mamdani and the billionaires and their policies that sort of ushered in this era. I agree with you on that. I think Jamie Dimon, for example, might be more of a culprit than somebody like Bill Ackman, who has been more vocal lately. But he just he goes where the business is and what works for JP Morgan. All right, we are going to switch gears.
Because if you're just a schnook like me, and you don't run up a lot of ATM fees and don't run a big credit card balance, they will cancel your credit card and treat you like dirt on their shoe. But if you're Jeffrey Epstein, boy howdy, keep that party going.
Can we do a party? November 6th,